Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. My name is Henry. Thank you for joining this webinar today to discuss transferring your certification over to NQA. So going into the presentation today, it's going to be around a 20-minute to 30-minute webinar, just talking about transferring your certification over to NQA. There is a questions option, so please do ask questions in the question chat box, and I'll pick these up at the end and try and get through them all. This is a recorded webinar, so if you do need to pick this up at a later date, or if you have any queries that you want to ask further on down the line, then there will be an opportunity to get in contact with me after this webinar. So about myself, I'm a business development manager for NQA. I've been with the company for over a year. My role includes discussing ISO certification with a range of different job roles within a variety of sectors, either who are brand new to ISO certification and have been tasked with implementing a management system within their company, or with an existing client who is looking to either extend their existing scope to include new offices or locations or any new business activities. Alternatively, I speak with people similar to you today who already have certification but are looking to transfer over to NQA for a number of different reasons, which we'll go into further detail down the line. So today what we're going to talk about are the reasons to consider transferring certification, the process involved with transferring, the timescales associated with transferring, the cost of transferring, and lastly, why you should choose NQA. So reasons for transfer, generally speaking, what we tend to find is that there are normally a number of reasons for transferring from an existing certification body to another. One of the reasons being poor service. Potentially you didn't receive the level of service you were expecting when you originally signed up with the certification body you were with. It may be that you are receiving a downturn of service from being with the certification body for a number of years and you no longer feel like a valued customer. To be honest, this tends to be the majority of clients that we see move across, especially to NQA. The level of service, so you might have been receiving a higher level of service, getting more interaction with your certification body. Maybe your auditor's changed or there has been some issues in relation with that. Level of communication might be on a downward spiral and you're just not getting the level of communication that you were used to. Consistency of auditor is a challenge to maintain and have the same auditor throughout your time period with a certification body. Obviously, there are aspects where people come and go from organisations, but the ideal scenario would be to have the same auditor year on year, so they can have an understanding of your organisation and obviously the company goals. Obviously, the approach to certification, a number of certification bodies have different views on certification and how they approach this. Again, this will be something that we can talk about in more detail as we go on. Retendering, so this predominantly for the larger contracts or larger companies, especially in the public sector, who need to go through the tender process. If for whatever reason internally there is a review for your outgoing expenditure, which a lot of companies have gone through recently in 2020 especially, then tenders will take place and you'll look to move for a number of different reasons such as price and service. Changes in your organisation, so it might have become a larger organisation, could be through a number of acquisitions, which has increased the number of employees and number of sites, potentially a global organisation now, which obviously retenders are essential for that process. There's multiple ISO, so different certification bodies. You've got, so you're shopping around for the best deal, look at the top three, going out to market to see who's most competitive in terms of price, and indeed finding out what the service level agreements are. Also, you can find different auditors with different auditor approach. So for example, at NQA, we like to use NQA employed auditors as opposed to sort of freelance auditors. Main reason being that the NQA auditors are trained by NQA and therefore match our flexible and collaborative approach to auditing, which obviously you can't guarantee from auditors not directly employed. Integrated management system, so understanding that you have more than one standard. the big three, the majority of what we see is the 9001, 14 and 45,001. So looking at integrating these management systems to see a saving in audit duration, workload and price. So how do you transfer to NQA? It's a really straightforward process. A lot of companies I've personally spoke with over the last year or so, they almost fear the transfer process as they believe it to be a lot more complex than it actually is. Might be partway through a cycle or due to recertification, so thinks there's no real good time for the transfer. Ultimately, the first step is to get in touch with NQA. You can either send an email, call, or through our website. What we'll do is we'll request some information such as existing certification to ensure the certificate is valid with a UCAS accredited certification body. We'll ask for the most recent audit reports up to and including the recertification, the last recertification that took place. And then we'll get an understanding of where you are in relation with any NCRs, so any existing or open minors or majors, and if you have you put the corrective action plans in place to close them out, just so we can understand exactly where you are with your certification cycle. What we'll do is then we will send you out a quotation based on the information that you've provided. If all is well and you are happy with the quote, the next step will be signature for quote. So agree to the transfer, and then we'll look at the actual physical transfer of the audit, which can be carried out in a number of ways. There's remote auditing or on-site, and the level of detail on that audit will vary, again, depending on the organisation and the previous reports. Once we're happy with that, you say, what we'll do then is we would give you the certificates that you wish to transfer, and make sure they're all in date and all the information is accurate. And then what we'll do is we'll issue you with an NQA certificate. So once you've received that, we will then take on your audit schedule for the coming year and for the rest of the certification cycle. So how much will it cost, time and money? How long it will take? As I said, this is an extremely easy process. It obviously will depend on the size of the organisation. If you're a small organisation, so for example, let's say under 100 employees, single site with simple business processes, then it's a very simple activity to take place. If you're a large multi-site organisation, then it may take a bit longer, but it certainly wouldn't take an auditor more than 1 day to review the reports and the certificates and then to carry out the transfer for certification. So, I mean, yeah, it says there it could be less than a week. It definitely will be, especially at the moment with the high number of remote audits taking place. So this will have an impact on when your certificate expires. If your certificate was due to expire in a month, then you're probably a bit late to be transferring. So we would look to try and be as helpful as we can, but at that stage, you're probably in the position where it's best to continue with your current certification body for your recert and then look at the transfer afterwards. Looking at the cost itself, this will obviously vary depending on the size of the organisation, as mentioned earlier. Also, the number of standards that you are transferring across. The full proposal would ensure that every area is covered within that. Obviously, accurate duration and cost for ongoing audits and how much that's going to be moving forward for the rest of the cycle. So, who are NQA? If you're not an existing client or haven't heard of us before, and we're a new company to you, I'm just going to give you a bit of a background as to who we are and what we do. We're a global organisation. We're owned by a large American company called NTS, who are leaders in the testing and inspection industry. We have a large number of standards that we certify to. We've been around for over 30 years now. Globally, we have over 1,000 employees with over 50,000 certificates. If you're looking at just the UK, it breaks down to about just over 100 employees with 12,000 active certificates. Our core standards in the UK are the big three I mentioned earlier, the 9001, 14 and 45,001. However, given the recent pandemic, we've seen a large increase in 27,001, which is information security. Obviously, with more and more people working from home, information security has become on the forefront of leaders' minds. Another standard that we've seen increase is 22301, which is business continuity management. It follows on quite nicely from the information security, and obviously it's reflective of the pandemic over the past year. So in the US, we are number one the #1 certification body in the aerospace sector, with some extremely high-level clients there. And we're also #1 out in China in the automotive sector by a long stretch. The certification services and training that we offer are on the basic standards mentioned earlier, as well as 50,001, which is energy management, 27, 22301, 13485, which is medical devices, and IATF for automotive and aerospace standards. All of our training services are available both face-to-face or online. Obviously, we have had to make all of our training online recently due to the pandemic, and we've seen some successful remote training for our clients. So nationwide training services for all our existing clients. We also offer completely free e-learning services. So however many employees you have in your organization, you wish to upskill, we offer for free. Even if you're not an existing client, it's not really expensive, and they are really, really good courses. Most of the NQA team have taken the courses as part of their induction, including yours truly. We offer in-house training as well. So let's say you have 5 or 6 employees in your organization you feel would benefit from a training course, whether it be an implementation or internal auditor or lead auditor. This has been conducted remotely recently. However, we are getting back to on-site. There's also public training courses which we run in hotels across the UK. Again, this has been virtually recently. However, we are getting back to normal gradually. And for further information on the training courses are available on the NQA website. So NQA have got a net promoter score of 70. It can range from -100 to 100, and we're sitting at 70. The industry standard is around 43, so we're well up there, and we're the highest NPS among our competitors. This is based on our customer service and the level of service that we provide. We have a high retention rate of clients also, as mentioned in the previous slide, of over 10 years. So considering the certification cycle is 3 years, you can see that there is a good amount of continued business. We find that clients stay with us for a long time, and we lose clients to, it's more in line with liquidation or not needing certification anymore, rather than losing out to other certification bodies. Again, this is based on our level of service that we provide. So NQA's experience promise is a fundamental part of our organisation. It's something we take great pride in. We promise to update you on industry changes. So this will be done via webinars or through our website, which is something that we believe is of huge benefit to our customers and not something that you particularly see from other certification bodies. We promise our experience will add value to your audit schedule. So when you have an auditor come out to audit you, will try and make sure that you're getting the best experience possible. We'd like to think that you're sort of working with the auditor to make sure you have a friendly and approachable process. Some companies sort of fear auditors and are concerned about them coming out to visit them and picking faults within their business. So the way we approach is more of a continued improvement for your business, and highlights potential improvements for a better organisation. We make sure all of our fees are all inclusive, so there are no hidden fees within the contract, no additional admin fees or management fees or any sort of travel costs when it's within the UK. We're very clear with what we charge and how we charge it. All the information with the terms and conditions are on the quote letters that we submit over to you as well, and you'll be updated with any changes should that ever happen over the course of the year, and obviously that'll be well in advance of it happening. We ensure that all of our auditors are technically competent for your industry, so we employ auditors from a range of different environments and different sectors to ensure that we have the best knowledge we possibly can, which means that when the auditor comes out to your business, they have a good knowledge of your industry, they understand the pain points and where the risks might be, and again, just to improve your auditing experience. So yeah, we deliver excellent customer service. Our NPS reflects that and is particularly high within industry. What we'll also do is provide access to our customer portal, which is a system that is being built in the background, and this will give our clients an opportunity to review the certification, your audit reports, non-conformities, and any sort of further action which needs to be taken on those. So it will give you more flexibility to deal with things yourselves directly, rather than having to rely on phoning someone or waiting for an email to come through. So what you can expect from NQA is a practical and common sense approach. We try to be a particularly approachable company in that we are very responsive. We pride ourselves on being quick to get back to you. If you need help, guidance, or advice, we're at the end of the phone or an email, and we'll get back to you very quickly. We offer a comprehensive service because we can offer you a number of different standards, which I mentioned earlier. We can offer you a range of training courses, including the free learning for our existing clients, as well as public and in-house courses. And that covers nearly all of the standards that we offer. As well as that, we also offer any technical advice. So there's an e-shot that goes out every month with any update or changes to a particular standard. So for example, the 18,001 to 45,001. So any advice on migration and how to best manage that transition, the information will be readily available for you and sent out to you as a client. The support we provide, so assessors and the continuity and integrated management systems assessors. So if you have 2 or 3 standards that you have within your organization, to have one auditor come out to assess all standards for you, opposed to having 3 auditors, is a benefit to you and a reduction to cost. A lot of our auditors are trained to the 9, 14 and 45, which are the most common standards that we see. We also have expert webinars, so we have a lot of extremely qualified people who do these webinars. They have a strong level of background knowledge and understanding of the industry. So whether it be at the moment, as I said earlier, particularly 27,001 is a big one, and the people who perform these webinars are industry experts, and they understand fully what they're talking about and obviously what they're discussing in these webinars, and you can get a lot of strong takeaway information from these. We also offer a lot of free guides, free information, which can all be found on our website. So for example, if you're looking at 27,001, we offer a free implementation guide to support you through that. Obviously, as a certification body who offers a high level of assurance, we are limited to how much help we can give you in order to remain a third-party, unbiased external assessor. So we provide the information based on the audits that we've done in the past and the information we have to hand and support you where possible. Okay, so that concludes today's webinar on transferring certification. I hope you've found this useful. If anyone has any questions, then please feel free to put them into the question box and I will answer them as best I can. I got a question from Ian. Thank you. Do you have any case studies? Yes, we do. We've got a number of different case studies, all accessible on our website. If you just go to the search bar, it should be there, and there'll be a range of different case studies from different clients that we have from different sectors. I think that looks to be it. If there's, I'll give another minute. Okay, I think that's there doesn't seem to be any more questions. So again, just like to thank you all for your time and for joining me today on the webinar. As I said, I hope you found it helpful. Any further inquiries that you have, or if you do think of any questions, you can reach me via email. It's henry.igoe@nqa.com. So thank you very much.